Okay, so we'll start with the new experiment. This experiment is based on the client-side image mapping. So what is the client-side image mapping? Now, client is nothing but simply a browser. You can use any browser, and if you try to show image inside the browser, and if you map the coordinates with the image inside the browser, then you can call it as a client-side image. Now, if you want to use any image which is saved online on a server, and if you are writing a program that can map coordinates with a image which is available online, then we can call it as a server-side image mapping. But basically, this experiment is very simple. We'll follow the steps and perform it. The experiment says that we have to create a one file called as imagemap.html, and this page should have one image in the format of JPG, PNG, or GIF extension. We have to also create the three different shapes like rectangle, circle, and the polygon, which do not overlap. Then we have to locate the coordinates using the either of the software called as MS Paint, GIMP, Irfan View, or Pinta. Each shape should be mapped or navigate with a different URL that should navigate to a local page. So basically, we are creating a one HTML page. We have to show one image inside the image. So we can use image tag, and we can represent that image inside the browser. We have to also create a shapes like circle, polygon, rectangle, triangle we can use. And when you click on particular shape, it should redirect to the particular page, like maybe the local page which is saved on a computer, or it could be redirected to the online page also, like facebook.com or instagram.com or any website. So let's start. I will create a one folder here. I will use a tool called as annotate so I can highlight my cursor better. So I will create a one folder here, new, then a folder. I will name it as SOP number 7. And inside this folder, I will create one image. I will create one HTML file. So I can either go to the option called as a file, right click, new, and the text document. And I can double click on it. And you have to save this file as image mapping. File name can be anything. It is mentioned in the experiment that we have to use name called as image map or image mapping.html. It's your choice. It doesn't make any difference. So you have to save it as .html. Just to save this file. The file is created in the background. Remove this extra file. Now, here we have to write a program that can show the image in the page. So what we have to do is I will write a tag. I will increase the font initially. So let me use the font as 18, or yeah, fine. So I need a little bit more. So 20 or 22 I can use here. Fine. So we have to write all the basic tag here. So HTML, then the closing of HTML tag, then head tag, then closing of the head tag. Between head tag, we have to write opening of the title tag and closing of the title tag. And yeah, we can also write it the same line so that you can view the entire screen at a time. So after the head tag, we can also write body tag, closing of the body. So write the program for the client side image mapping here. So initially I will create one image. So I will use MS Paint. So let's right click and create a new paint, open one paint, MS Paint document, or I can go from here also. I can write here as a paint. Now here you can draw a different shape, and I will use one as a rectangle. I will use one as a polygon. A polygon can have any number of sides, but minimum 3 sides should be there, because then and only then it can form the closed shape. So triangle, square, rectangle, pentagon, hexagon, these all are example of the polygon. Not only that, you need to understand polygon, it doesn't have the regular shape. So it can have any type of the shape. So here, suppose I want to draw a polygon, randomly I will draw a structure. There are no restriction on number of side. There are no particular dimension. So I will draw a one polygon. So you can directly join here, or if you want, you can drag to the one another point, and you can form the polygon. So there is no restriction on the number of sides, but minimum 3 sides should be there. Then and only then it can form the a closed region. I will draw a circle also. So here I will draw a circle. Fine. Now we have to locate the coordinate of each shape, each point actually. So what I will do is, initially I am going to save this image is in the JPEG format in the same folder. So you have to go to the option file, then go to the save as and use JPEG option. Then select your folder from the desktop, and there you can save file. So there is a folder called as SOP7. Go inside that folder and you can write a name called as 1. So the name of my image, the name of the image which is created in the background in MS Paint is 1. Now do not write here JPG or JPEG here, because the name should be selected from the drop down list. By default it's a JPEG only. If you write there a .jpg, then actual name will become a 1.jpeg.jpeg. So let it be like 1. Do not write anything. Let it be the default format selected from the drop down list, and simply click on the save. Now image will be saved there. Now what we have to do is we have to locate the coordinates of each point. Now how we can do it actually? Now in this file, in the MS Paint, it's very easy to locate the coordinates. Now whichever the software you're using, there are number of ways of locating the coordinates. Each software will use a different format of XY axis. Now I'm using the Windows operating system, Windows 10. In MS Paint, this part will be considered as a 0, 0 point. Now check here, if I use a pencil here, if I keep a cursor here, now you have to just notice at the bottom left corner here. Every time I move my cursor, the point will be changed. So what exactly happening? The location of the cursor is a changing. That means a location of the each point is a changing. Wherever I keep the cursor, it will have the two different coordinates. One is x-axis and the second is a y-axis. Now you can check here, when I keep a cursor here, 2 points are highlighted at the bottom left corner at this position. You have to notice here. So when I keep a cursor here, you can check 483 and 465. So 483 is nothing but a distance of the current cursor, a point, from the vertical axis, like this one distance. So suppose that if I put a dot here, somewhere here. So if I put a dot here somewhere, and you can check here, if I draw a line from here, just for the understanding purpose, I will use another shape, okay, which we can delete later on. So suppose that here, or yeah, I can directly draw it from here. So suppose that if I draw a line from here, so every point will represent the 2 points. So this is a nothing but a different points of the coordinates. So you can check here, the moment I click here, it will have the 2 points. These points are nothing but simply a x point. So I can call here as x1, and here I will call it as a y1. So this x1 and y1 is nothing but, moment I keep the cursor, you can check it's a 445 and 358. So these points are nothing but the same thing we have to mention here. So every time you move the cursor, and how to locate it actually, how to identify whether it is working properly or not, or whether you are measuring the distance properly or not. When I keep the cursor, whichever the first point highlighted, like a 444 in this case. So this 444 is nothing but a distance of this point from this vertical axis. And the another point which is highlighted, which is 356, is nothing but the distance of this point from a horizontal axis. So this one is your x-axis and this one is your y-axis. If you notice that if I simply use the cursor also, if I simply use the keyboard and if I use the left arrow key, right arrow key, top and the bottom key, I can actually move the cursor. But if I go to the extreme top left corner, it will highlight the point. You can notice at bottom left corner, it's a 0, 0. If I start moving the, if I start pressing the right arrow key, you can check only X value is changing. If I get to the original position and if I press again, uh, down arrow key, it will change only the Y coordinates. So that means every time I move the cursor in any direction, I can get the coordinates, and that is what important here. So there are different strategies for locating the coordinates. Now, if you are using the rectangle, what we need to know is we need the coordinates of the points x1, y1. So whenever I try to map uh, image client-side image mapping using the this image or whichever the shape we are required, there are different strategies. So in case of the rectangle, what we have to do is we always need to know that coordinates of the top left corner of the rectangle and the bottom right corner of the rectangle. So here I will call as x2 and y2. So you can check here. We just need to note down the coordinates of the x1, y1 and the x2, y2. We don't need to identify the coordinates of this point because the property of the rectangle is opposite sides are equal. So from the coordinate only the browser will understand that where is the location of this point because they will be always in the straight line horizontally or vertically. They will cross each other. So whenever there is a rectangle or the square, we know the properties are same. Opposite sides are equal in a rectangle. So whenever you want to locate the coordinates of the other shape, there are different strategy. You can use the same strategy, but whenever the rectangle is there, coordinates of the only 2 points are enough. When you're locating the coordinates of the polygon shape, then you have to follow the different strategy because the opposite sides are not equal and it has a irregular shape. So we need to locate the coordinates of the each point. So suppose that here in the polygon shape, what you have to do is we have to locate the coordinates of each and every single point. So you can start with the any of the point. So suppose I will start from here and I will write here as x1, then y1. This point, the coordinates I will have to write x2, y2 there. So I will write here as x2 and the y2. Again, I will make sure that each point is covered, each connecting point is covered. So here I will write as x3 and y3. Here I will write x4 and y4, and here I will write x5, y5. So it's not visible properly, so I will just move it to the one side. Now this x1 y1 has nothing to do with this x1 y1. These are just for helping purpose we are using. So apart from that, what we have to do now, make sure that whichever the point you start with, when you're writing the coordinate, we have to cover the coordinates of the each point, and also we need to write the coordinates of the first point here. I will explain you in the detail because then and only then it can form a closed region. Now for the circle, what we have to do is we need to know the coordinates of the center. So for the coordinates of the centers are nothing but you can call here as x1, y1, and we have to write radius of the circle. Now how to locate it actually? It's a very simple. What I will do is I will write I will write these coordinates directly inside the another file. So the file which we have created image mapping, just open now. This is the image we have created where it has a number of shapes. I will open this file. I guess the file is already open here. Yes. So initially we will try to show an image. Now to show the image, I will use the tag image sr equal to the name of the image 1.jpg, and this image we are going to map. So I will use the tag called as a map and the closing of the map. Now here we have written the image syntax, and here we have written the map. Now there are three shapes here. So we have to write here as area shape equal to, you can write here as a rectangle, entire word you can write, or you can simply write here as a RECT. Both way it will work. There is one more shape. Now there is no closing for the area tag. There is another shape, area shape equal to, you can write here as a entire word polygon, or you can simply write here as a poly word also. There is no closing for area also. Here also you can write the area, and shape equal to, you can write as a circle. Now I will save this file. Now there should be some relation with this image and this mapping, because right now you can check we have not written any coordinates here inside the map. We are just displaying the one image. Now let's open this image. Try to use the Internet Explorer, because the attributes which are like alt and all will highlight a text when you keep a cursor in some region, and it will work only when you are using the Internet Explorer kind of the browser, older version browser. If in case if it is not working, we can also use the browser like Edge or the Google Chrome, but we have to change the attribute to the title. So alt attribute can be replaced with the title also. Now these are the different shapes we are trying to represent in the browser, and our objective is, when you click inside the region, it should redirect us to the another page. So how we can do it actually? So image is created here. Do not use the height and width attribute here, because then there can be the mismatching with the coordinates. Now each area has an attribute called as chords. So we have to locate the coordinates of the each point. So polygon also, you have to write the attribute called as chords, and here also for circle also we have to write chords. So these are nothing but the coordinates. Now remember here, still there is no connection between the map thing and the image. We have to write the coordinates in each for each shape, and we have to link it with the this image. Now let us see how we can do it. Now we want to locate the coordinates of a rectangle. Now to locate the rectangle coordinate, I will keep it side by side, and what I will do is, let me use, yeah, now here is our MS Paint. So I can either minimize or make it smaller so that I can show the both files at the same time. Okay, now this is fine. So you can check, I can, my coordinates will be highlighted. So check here what exactly happened. So what I will do is, in my program, since I have to locate the coordinates, I will click here inside the coordinates, and I will write the coordinates of the each point. Now we know that for the rectangle, we have to write the coordinates of only the top left corner, right, bottom right corner. So here I need to write x1, y1, and x2, y2 separated by comma. But we have to write the actual values here. What is x1, y1, and x2 and sorry, y2? So when I keep a cursor, you have to notice here at the bottom right corner. What I will do is I will remove this one. You can check. I keep a cursor here. It becomes 143 and 90s. So there, here in the double quotation, we have to write coordinates of this x1, y1. So 145 and 96. So here I will write 145 and 96. Then write the comma again. Again, keep a cursor directly here. It shows that somewhere around 332 and 230. So I can write here 332 and 230. So 230. Okay, so this part is done now. Now what we can do is, if you notice here, we have written this coordinate, but how to check whether it is working or not? We have written the coordinates only for the first element. Now let's check. It's always good idea to check step by step whether it is working or not. Now we need to write something common for this map tag and the image tag. So I will use attribute called as a use map, and I will write in a double quotation use map equal to hash. There inside the hash, use map is used for the client-side image mapping. So I'm using the image which is saved on my computer, and I'm trying to show that image in the browser. My browser is enough to show the output using the image which is saved on a computer. So I will write here something called as ABC, anything you can write as a keyword. The same keyword you have to write inside the map also. So map has an attribute called as a name, and there you can write same thing. Now remember, do not include the hash symbol. Hash is the standard format. Whenever there is an image mapping, you have to write use map equal to hash ABC. Hash indicate that this ABC word is going to be mapped inside the map tag. So here I will write the ABC. Make sure you are not writing a hash symbol. If you write here hash symbol, your program will not work. If you're writing here in a capital, you have to write here in the capital. If you write in a small letter, you have to write in the small letter only. So this part is done, but how to check again? Now, when I'm using the attribute called as alt, you can write anything inside the image tag, like this is image, or you can write here, this is client side image mapping program. Anything that you're writing inside the alt attribute will be highlighted, but where will it will get highlighted? Now we have written the alt attribute inside the image tag. Where is image? This is a 1.jpg image. So that means wherever I keep the cursor on image, you can check, open this image with the Internet Explorer, and here you can refresh. You can either click here or you can press the F5 key of keyboard, and you can check whenever you keep the cursor here, it should highlight a text called as this is a client-side image map. Now, anywhere it should highlight. Now, because of we are using the older version of the Internet Explorer or maybe updated, it might not highlight it properly. So what's the solution for that? This alt attribute can also be replaced with another tag, another attribute. So rather than writing the alt attribute here, I will write here something called as a title. So title attribute works fine inside the Google Chrome browser. So I will open with the Google Chrome only and not with the Internet Explorer. So let's check. I'll open this page, image mapping, and when I keep a cursor, I will refresh and I will try to keep a cursor, and you can check whenever I keep a cursor anywhere, it will show the message written inside the title attribute. So that this is client-side image mapping. Now, since the title attribute is written inside the image tag, wherever you keep the cursor, it will highlight the same thing. So our job is when you keep a cursor inside the particular region, it should highlight like this is a rectangle or something like that. So if I keep a cursor here, it should highlight this is a polygon. Keep a cursor inside this region, it should highlight this is a circle. Now we have written the coordinates only for this part. You can always refresh. Sometimes it will lose a connectivity or the cookies, you can say, a temporary data. So always refresh it and keep a cursor here. Then only it will highlight. Now remember, this thing, this is a client thing, will be highlighted whenever you keep a cursor. Now the thing is that we need to highlight it for the rectangle. So we know that we have written the syntax here. So here we have written the program, and it says that there is a shape called as a rectangle. It has these coordinates. That means region is bounded by this coordinate. Now for that region, we can use attribute as a title. Then you can write title equal to this is a or simply write here as rectangle. You can write anything. So when I save this page, what will happen? When I keep a cursor anywhere on the image, it will highlight this is a client-side image mapping. I can simply replace it with the outside the shape, and I will have written here this is a rectangle. So the region bounded by this coordinate, inside that region, if I keep the cursor, then only it will highlight this is a rect. Now this is called as a mapping of this coordinate with the image, this image. So let's save this file, and I will use Internet Explorer. No, not Internet Explorer. Now we are using the title attribute. I will use Google Chrome. I will refresh. You can check. Whenever I keep a cursor anywhere, it will show outside the shape. But when I keep a cursor inside the region bounded by the coordinates, which is nothing but the square, it will highlight this is a rectangle. Now, the second thing is that we have to look for the coordinates of this polygon also. So let's start. What I will do is here I will write the coordinates. How to locate the coordinates of each point. So we can follow the same strategy. Now to make it easy, what you can do is, because there are a number of coordinates and attributes are written here, and it becomes very difficult to identify where exactly you have to write the coordinates. You can always write the coordinates in the or attribute in the different line, so that whole program will be become visible, and it becomes easy to rectify the mistake in case if there is. So I will write it like this way. It becomes very easy to write the coordinates. You can locate and write it directly. All the attributes I'm writing in the different line. So now it says that shape equal to rectangle, coordinates are this one, title. So same thing I will follow here. So for the polygon, what I will do is I have to locate the coordinates. Now how we can locate the coordinates? So you can start with any point. So when I keep a cursor here, you can check where is the polygon. Here I have written the polygon. I will just adjust it on my screen properly. Yeah, and let me select something. Yeah, so here is the polygon coordinates I have to write. Now writing the coordinate of the polygon is very easy. You just keep a cursor here, it will highlight the point. It's always a good idea. You can simply click here one time and then slowly highlight a cursor here. And when you start writing, it automatically start writing. Even if your cursor is here, it will automatically start writing here inside the coordinates. So I will keep a cursor, just note it down. I will click here, I will keep a cursor here. I will not click anywhere now. And you can see there, it shows that 558, 42. I will keep a cursor here. X2, Y2 we have to write. It says that 706 and 104. Again, I will keep cursor here. Then 580, 183. So again, I will keep a cursor here. It's a 592 and 318. Again, I will keep a cursor here. It says that 461 and 172. Now, after you are done with the polygon, make sure that your first point need to be covered, because there and only it can form the closed region. So when you started with x1, y1, x1, y1, it should come like this way. All the point has to be covered, and you have to also mention the coordinates of the first point, the beginning, where you started from. Otherwise, what will happen if you do not write the coordinates of this point one more time? Then what will happen? Even if you keep a cursor here or here, a browser will not understand the exact location of the cursor. So we have already written the cursor, we have already written the program here, and the initial point was 558 and 42. I can simply copy here and I can end with the same thing. If you want, you can locate the coordinate, you can keep a cursor here, it's the same thing. Coordinate will not change. The only thing is that there can be some difference of 1 point, because every time we cannot be so much 100% accurate. Like right now it highlight as a 555 and 43. Next time it might highlight because it's like 553. It doesn't make that much difference. Only there will be a little uh, accuracy will be lost. So we have written the coordinate of this point, and here we will write attribute called as title. In the title, I will write title equal to, this is a polygon. We can later on replace it with the another URL. So now I will write here as this is a polygon. So simply write here polygon. You can write anything inside this shape. So take care. I will save this image. Let's open the Google Chrome browser. Refresh it if you want. You can check everywhere. It will highlight. This is outside the shape. When you keep a cursor in the rectangle, it will highlight this is a rectangle. When you keep a cursor inside the polygon, it will highlight a polygon. You can check here also, everywhere inside the region of the polygon, it will simply highlight this is a polygon. Now circle thing. Now remember, for the rectangle also you can use the same strategy. Like you can write the coordinates of this point, x1, y1, then x2, y2. You can consider here x3, y3, x4, y4, and then again x1, y1. You can write it. You will get the same output. But since the number of sides are fixed in the rectangle, opposite sides are equal, To avoid this work, we can simply write the coordinates of the only top left corner and the bottom right corner. Here we are using the this second method. It's because of there is no regular shape. That's why you can use the a technique like locating the coordinates of each point. Now, once you start with the clockwise, you have to continue with the clockwise. If you want to continue with the anti-clockwise, you have to end with the anti-clockwise direction only. Now, let's discuss about this circle thing, last part. So here we have written the tag. I will just increase the size of notepad. So here also we need to locate the coordinates and we have to write here the coordinates of the center x1, y1 and radius of the circle. Now how to calculate? X1, y1 are nothing but the coordinates of the center. Now practically speaking, if I generally if I keep the cursor here inside the MS Paint, you can notice that when I keep a cursor here, 2 points are highlighted, two coordinates 157 and 447. But this 157 and 447, these are nothing but the coordinates of the center only. Here outside the shape, we call it as the coordinates of that point. But when I keep a cursor here, anyway, it's the coordinate of that point only, because each point has two coordinates, x1 and the y1. So when I keep a cursor here, you can check 159 and 445 something is highlighted. So I will open the notepad and I will replace x1, y1 with those number. Check here again, I just clicked here and I will keep a cursor here. So when I type something, it will automatically write inside the coordinates. So it's like 156 and 446. Now, how to find the radius of the circle? Now, if you're using some special software like the Corel or something like that, you can find the exact center of the circle. Now here we are simply clicking approximately at the center and we are getting these points. But if you want to find exact circle and exact the center of the circle, then we can use a software which can allow you to view the vertical and horizontal lines as like the graph paper, and we can find exact center. Now, what exactly we are doing here? We want to locate the center that we did it. Now, suppose that here is the center. Now, what is the radius? The radius will remain constant. Suppose here is the point, a center of the circle. Now, radius could be any, it could be the line that connect the center and the circumference, you can say, or this curve shape. So I need, what I will do is, I will simply draw a line. So from the y-axis. So you can check here, when I draw a line, what is here, what we can see here is this line which is connecting from this point to this point is nothing but the radius. You can do it vertically also, radius will not change. But we know that when I keep the cursor here, we got the 2 points 156 and 442, something like that. Same thing we can do here. When I keep a cursor here, check, I will write here, when I keep the cursor here, it's highlighting the 2 points 74 and 440. So this 74 is nothing but distance of this point from this y-axis. So this much distance is nothing but a 74, and the another point 443 is nothing but a distance of this point from this vertical axis. Now we are not interested in the vertical axis. Notice that we are simply trying to use the distance formula here. I kept the cursor here and we got something called as you can check first value is more important, which is visible here. When I kept the cursor here, we got something called as 156 approximately. Okay, now this entire thing is a 156. Okay, and when I kept the cursor here, I got something 76. So 156 minus this distance, so this entire distance from here to here minus this distance is nothing but we are getting this much distance, and which is nothing but our radius of the circle. This line is nothing but the radius of the circle. So you can use this combination. So I will write simply a combination here. Radius is nothing but you have to write a value which is nothing but one. You can say the 160 or 156. So 160. Okay, you can check here. It could be the 158, 160. Okay, we will call it here as the one something around the 155. Now you don't have to be very careful here. So you can approximately like say as it's a 160, or now this will change now, right? So earlier we considered it as a 156. So initial point is a 156, something like this one. So 156 minus the first point, like 75. So if you are not sure with that, you can simply use the calculator if you are stuck with the operation. So we know that here directly you can calculate, nothing is going to change here. So 156 minus of 74. So 176 minus, so no, this is wrong. We use the, so 176 minus 74. You can calculate, the value could be in a point also. So here we are simply getting a value something like, no, I guess there is some mistake in the calculation. Okay, so 176, something is wrong with the keyboard. 176 minus 74. So it becomes a 102. So 102 is nothing but the radius of the circle. So even if you get some value, you won't get the value in the point because both are non-decimal number. Not possible to get the fractional number here. So if you want to be more careful, always use the calculator rather than wasting your time. So simply we got a radius of the circle 102 here, and we will also write here something called as a title. So title is nothing but, you can write here this is a circle. Fine. Now let me adjust my screen. File, save. Now let's refresh. Let's open a browser and yeah, refresh here, and this will be highlighted as a rectangle. This will be highlighted as a polygon, and now this will be highlighted as a circle. Anywhere if you keep the cursor, anytime you keep the cursor outside the shape, it will highlight it's a outside. Now, remember when you're writing this program, you have to use initially Internet Explorer, use alt attribute or ALT. If it doesn't work, try using the title, but you have to open in a Google Chrome browser. Okay. Now they have mentioned that it should open some local pages or some global pages also we can connect it to. So we don't need the calculator. Job is done. Okay. So what I will do is inside this file, I will create a one local page here. So I did not create this page. Let me check where it's coming from. Okay, whatever. So save this page. Yeah, my system is getting synchronized with the Windows operating system. So I'm getting this file. Ignore this one. I can simply delete it. File is already open. Okay, not an issue. Avoid it. So this is the not a file which belongs to the program. Okay, so I will create a one local image file, a new text document I will create here. Now this is my local page. I can simply save here as file, save as local page one dot, simply write here a local page dot html and save this file. Inside this file, you can simply write the all the HTML head, title, body, okay, and you can mention. So let's write all the things HTML, then closing of HTML tag, and the head tag you can write closing of the head tag, and between the head tag you can write the title tag. Local page is nothing but the page which is created and saved on your computer. So other pages are simply like the pages of the website, and those are global because they are available on the internet. I will write here opening and the closing of the body. So if you want to write something here, you can write here as this is a local page. Now we know that this is a local page. This is for the understanding only. So I can refresh again. Simply write here as h1 tag, and I will also write here as a center tag here, and here closing of h1. If you want to use any of the page which is created in the previous practical year, that is also okay. Closing of the center tag. You can write something, you can show something background color also, bg color equal to something like the sky blue. That's it. So save this page, and you can check. These are the two pages we have created. Now this one is not required. So we have saved two pages, one as a local image. Okay, this page local page, and second is the image mapping. And this image we have used. Now this is not a part of the program. So here I will open this file, image mapping file. And what I will do is here simply I will make a changes. So in the shape of the rectangle, now we are using attribute shape, coordinates, title. I will use one more attribute called as href. There I will write the address of the page. Make sure that a file has to be created in the same page. Let's open and check it. Now this is a local page. It's highlighting properly. Now this file is created in the same folder of SOP saved. So what I will do is I will simply write the name of this page, local page dot HTML. If you save it in somewhere else, C drive, D drive, you have to write the entire URL like the C drive, then documents and name of the parent folder and the local folder. So let's check again. So right now, okay. So let me close everything, open the Google Chrome browser. So we'll open the image map program. Since what we have done, we have written like this is area shape equal to a rectangle. And now you can check when I keep the cursor inside this region, it's changing the shape of the cursor also. So the hand symbol is visible here. That means when I click here, it is redirecting us to the local page. Now it's not working for the another shape because we have not written anything here. So rather than writing this is a rectangle, I will make some changes. So what I will do is already we have written here, this is a rectangle. And now I will highlight here as click here for a local page. Now save this page again. And now you can check when you refresh, when you keep a cursor here, it will highlight a message, click here for local page. You can click anywhere inside this region. So when you click, it will be connected, it will get connected to that local page. Now other shapes which we have written, rather than writing website or local page address, we can also write address of the global page. So here I will write here as for polygon shape, I will write href equal to page https www. You can write it as a www.google.com.co.in. Let me save and let's check. I will open the browser here. Now here is my first page. Now for Polygon we have written here. So when I click here, it will simply open the Google website because we have written in that way. So you can check here. We are here. Actually, it is a slash given, which is in another format. A forward I have written somewhere, and somewhere I have written the backward also. But still, it is working. It will automatically understand. Browsers are user friendly. So even if there is a mistake here, it will automatically understand. But HTTP or HTTPS has to be there. Now I will change this with title called as this is a global or global page. And you can also write here as click here open google.com. So this text will be highlighted there. Similarly, here also you can write, rather than writing here, you can write here as click here to open another website, or say as Facebook or anything you can write. Okay, so here we have to write attribute called as href, and we have to write here href equal to https and www.facebook.com. So now you can check all the pages will get open here automatically. So here I will open the browser, go back, refresh. It says that click here for local page. This one is already working. I will click here inside the circle, so it will automatically redirect to the another page. Now I just went back. The page is directly connected to my Facebook account, so you can't see that information. I immediately click on the back arrow. So here, now the thing is that we are almost done with this experiment. Now what is missing here? Now image which I'm using right now, I have one more image here. You can check when I open this image, some background image is there, and this image I have saved with the name called as a one. What I will do is, rather than using this image, I will use another image which is already available on the internet. I simply downloaded it. Now, if you open the program, remember I replaced that MS Paint wala image with this image. Now, what is going to happen right now? Even if you check, I double click on this file. Now the shape is highlighted. These things are highlighted, but can you check? Still, just because of I deleted the image, the properties are still exist here. So you can check when I use the tab key from the keyboard, it still highlight rectangle, polygon, and the circle. Now you cannot change or you can increase or decrease the size of anything. Doesn't make any difference. Even if you use this image as a background, still it will work because the coordinate will not change. The coordinates are still here. Now here, if you want to use uh, the dimension, so here you can write the dimension of the image. Like suppose here we have written the image tag, and here I can write something like the height equal to something, width equal to something. You can make those changes. The coordinate will always remain same. So let's say as here, I want to use this image as a background. So you can write here image something like the BG color. Also you can write if you want, or you can write the image also. So it is not because of the image which we are showing the image is mapped. It's because of the coordinates. Because the coordinates are still present. You can check the coordinates of the still present. Browser just understand where is the coordinate. It doesn't actually understand where are these shapes. The browser doesn't understand these shapes. It understands only the coordinates. It understands the shape because of these coordinates. So that is the objective of the client-side image mapping. So these points, these closed regions are always called as a hotspot also. So in exam, it could be asked. So the meaning of the hotspot is nothing but this closed region. So rectangle, polygon, and this one. You can call it as a hotspot because when you click here, it will redirect you to another page. Now it will work in the same way. You can check if I use it now. You have to use the tab key. If you use the tab key once, it will highlight the address bar. Again, you can use the tab key. When you keep a cursor here, you can check circle. A circle is somewhere here, and here there is one polygon. So when you when you click here, again it will redirect to the local page. The program will work in the same way. So here again you can check. I can keep a cursor here and click. The Google page will get open, and here if I click, another page like Facebook account will get connected. My login is automatically available there. So it will work that way. So this is the object of the client-side image mapping. So what we learned actually, client-side image mapping is nothing but we are going to map these coordinates with the image. So here you can check image we've initially displayed. Map is nothing but a tag. Now to relate map with the image, we use something which is common between them. So we use the hash ABC. Hash is nothing but an indication that this ABC is going to be used for a mapping as a name. So this name is nothing but the attribute. Now, when you write this name ABC, make sure that hash is given here, and you cannot write the hash here. Now, these shapes can be written in any order. I can cancel these coordinates of the first shape and I can put it here also. It doesn't make any difference. I can cancel, I can cut this area of the rectangle and I can put it here also. It doesn't make any difference because system understand only coordinates. So the order of the tag or the order of this entire thing attribute and the shape doesn't make any difference. Now, when I'm sharing this program with you, your coordinates will be different from the my coordinates. You cannot use the same coordinates which I have written here. So you should write your own coordinates. Otherwise, it will not work. So you can save this page. I will be sharing these files with you in a Google Classroom. And you have to complete, you have to follow the procedure and you have to submit on a I will give the due date there, and in that time slot you have to upload your all the files. So that's it.